The massive ships of the Talon fleet hung in Earth's sky like metal mountains. People in cities across the world pointed up at them, but strangely, there wasn't much panic. The ships had appeared suddenly one morning, their dark shapes blocking the sun in some places. Fleet Commander Nock stood on the bridge of his flagship, looking down at the blue planet. His grey skin reflected the glow of control panels as his four-fingered hand tapped against the viewing glass. "Such a simple world," he said to his officers. "The reports show they have only basic space travel and limited weapons. This should be an easy addition to our territory." His second-in-command, Officer Toole, nodded in agreement. "The Galactic Union will be pleased. This planet has abundant water and minerals we need." Nak had conquered 6 worlds before this one. Each time followed the same pattern. Show force, watch the locals panic, then negotiate their surrender while they were still afraid. It never took more than 3 days. "Prepare the landing craft," Nak ordered. "I'll lead the diplomatic team." "Myself." The Talon ship descended through white clouds, landing in an open field outside what humans called New York. Nak expected military vehicles, perhaps some primitive tanks or aircraft, to meet them. Instead, when the doors opened, he was surprised to find just a small group of humans standing calmly in a semicircle. They wore simple blue uniforms without obvious weapons. A woman with short black hair stepped forward as Nak and his team approached. Something about her calm eyes made Nak uncomfortable, though he couldn't explain why. "I am Director Han Ju of Earth's Defense Council," she said clearly. "On behalf of our world, I welcome you." Nak towered over her by nearly 2 feet. His translator converted her words perfectly. "I am Fleet Commander Nak of the Talon Fleet, representing the Galactic Union. We have come to discuss terms for your world joining our alliance." Hanju's expression didn't change. No fear, no awe at meeting beings from another world, just that same steady gaze that somehow felt like she was looking right through him. "We are always open to peaceful discussions," she replied. "Please, follow me. We've prepared a meeting place." As they walked, Nak noticed something odd. The humans nearby were going about their business almost normally. Some stopped to watch the aliens pass, but there was none of the chaos or military scrambling he expected. It was as if they had been prepared for this moment. Inside a simple building, Han Ju led them to a round table. Maps of Earth decorated the walls, along with strange symbols Nak didn't recognize. "Before we begin," Han said with a slight smile. That didn't reach her eyes. "I should clarify something important. Earth has never been successfully invaded, not once in our history." Officer Toole made a snorting sound that his translator didn't convert. "Many worlds say similar things before they join the Union." "This isn't bravado," Han replied, her voice still friendly but somehow harder. "It's simply a fact you should be aware of as we talk." Nak waved his hand dismissively. "We appreciate your confidence, Director Han. Now let's discuss how your transition into the Galactic Union will work. We require access to your water reserves and mining rights to key minerals. In exchange, we offer protection and limited technology sharing." Han opened a folder and slid some papers across the table. "We have prepared our own suggestions for possible cooperation." Nak was startled by this response. Usually at this point, local leaders were asking what they needed to do to avoid destruction. "You misunderstand," he said, leaning forward. "We are not requesting. The Talon fleet currently has 26 battleships positioned around your world. Each one could destroy your largest city with a single strike." Han nodded as if he had commented on the weather. "Yes, we've counted 26 ships, though the one over Australia appears to be having some trouble with its lower engine array." Nak froze. That information was correct. The ship had reported minor engine problems an hour ago. How could she possibly know that? What the aliens didn't realize was that Earth had detected their approach 3 months earlier. When the first unusual signals were captured by a listening station in the Arctic, a quiet alert had gone out to all world governments. Unlike in movies, there was no public announcement, no mass panic. Instead, carefully designed protocols developed decades ago were put into action. Military satellites had been quietly repositioned, underground facilities activated, and certain technologies long kept hidden from public view were brought online. "Perhaps," Han continued, You'd like some refreshments before we continue? We've prepared foods that should be compatible with your biology. As servers brought in trays, Nak noticed something on one of their wrists, a small device that looked far more advanced than anything his intelligence reports suggested humans possessed. For the first time since arriving on Earth, a cold feeling of uncertainty crept up his spine. Something wasn't right here. These humans were too calm, too prepared. And how did they know about his ship's engine problems? "Director Han," he said slowly, "how long have you known we were coming?" Han's smile widened just slightly. "Long enough, Commander Nak. Long enough." In the week following first contact, the Talon fleet set up research stations around the globe. Their ships remained in orbit, a constant reminder of their presence, but smaller craft shuttled between Earth and the fleet, carrying teams of researchers, eager to study this new world. Among them was lead researcher Vin, a tall, thin alien with eyes that could see into the ultraviolet spectrum. His specialty was xenobiology, the study of alien life forms, and humans fascinated him from the moment he began his work. "Subject shows unusual recovery rate," Vin dictated into his recorder as he examined blood samples in his temporary lab near what humans called Bangkok. "Cellular regeneration exceeds predicted models by 23%. His assistant Mech looked up from her own samples. "It matches what we've seen in the endurance tests. They're physically weaker than galactic standard, but they just don't stop," Vin nodded, his long fingers adjusting the settings on his microscope. "Did you see the pain response data? The human test subjects volunteered for minor pain stimulus tests, and their tolerance levels are concerning." "Concerning how?" Mech asked. "They can function through levels of pain that would incapacitate most species," Vin replied. "It's as if they evolved expecting to be hurt regularly." Across the room, another researcher called out, "You should see these stress adaptation results. I've never seen a species that modifies its behavior so quickly under new conditions." Vin moved to examine the new data, a feeling of unease growing inside him. The reports coming in from all research teams told a similar story. Humans appeared simple and physically unimpressive at first glance, but beneath that were layers of surprising traits. They required less sleep than most intelligent species. They could digest a wider variety of foods. Their problem-solving abilities were off the charts, especially under pressure. "Forward all findings to Commander Nak," Vin instructed. "There's something not adding up here." Meanwhile, in an underground facility beneath Seoul, Kim Sun reviewed security footage from around the globe. As head of Earth's Special Defense Division, she had spent years preparing for this exact scenario. Now her team worked around the clock, monitoring every alien movement. "They've set up another observation post near Site 12, her assistant reported, pointing to a map glowing on the wall screen. "That's the third one near a restricted zone." Kim nodded, her expression serious. "They're getting curious. Deploy Team Blue to that location. Standard protocol, invisible perimeter, silent countermeasures." "Yes, Director," the assistant replied, typing commands into his console. "Should we inform the aliens this area is off limits?" "No," Kim said. "Let them discover it themselves. We need to see how far they'll push." The room hummed with quiet activity as dozens of specialists monitored screens showing alien movements worldwide. Years before the Talon fleet arrived, Earth's governments had secretly agreed on how to handle first contact. While the public saw only the diplomatic meetings and scientific exchanges, beneath the surface, Kim's organization watched every alien step. 3 days later, Commander Nak stormed into the diplomatic meeting room where Director Han waited calmly. "3 of our scout teams have gone missing," Nak said, his translator barely keeping up with his angry words. 2 near your northern polar region and 1 in a desert you call Sahara. We demand to know what happened to them." Han looked up from the document she was reading, her expression neutral. "Were these teams in authorized areas, Commander? We provided maps of where your people could safely conduct research." "We are conducting a planetary survey," Nak replied. "The Galactic Union needs complete data." "Perhaps your people should stay within authorized areas," Han said, her voice level. "Earth can be unpredictable. There are natural dangers your teams might not recognize." Nak's skin darkened with anger. Natural dangers don't disable communication equipment and remove all traces of a 12-person scout team. Han simply folded her hands on the table. We would be happy to send recovery teams to assist in finding your missing personnel. Just provide the exact coordinates. The commander hesitated, suddenly unwilling to reveal where his teams had been operating. Back on his ship that evening, Nak met with Vin and his security chief, Dox. Something isn't right, Nak said, pacing the room. Our initial scans showed minimal defense technology, primitive satellites, basic weapons, nothing that could threaten us. Vin nodded. My research shows similar contradictions. Their biology suggests a species that evolved facing constant dangers. They're survivors, adaptable in ways I've never seen. And now our scouts vanish without a trace, Dox added. I've analyzed the last transmissions. No alarm, no warning. They simply went silent mid-report. Nak stopped pacing. Scan the planet again. Full spectrum. We did, sir, Dox replied. Results match our initial findings, but what? We detected unusual energy. Fluctuations in several regions. When we focused our scanners there, the readings disappeared, almost as if something was actively hiding from our technology. Nak stared out the viewport at Earth glowing blue and white below them. It had seemed so simple from a distance, just another world to bring into the Union. Now he wasn't so sure. They knew we were coming, he said quietly. They were prepared for us. But how? And what are they hiding? On Earth, Kim Sun watched the increased scanner activity from the Talon ships. She smiled slightly as her technicians adjusted the countermeasures, keeping Earth's true capabilities hidden beneath layers of technological misdirection. Centuries of preparing for this moment were paying off. The aliens were starting to doubt themselves, starting to wonder what they had really found on this seemingly ordinary blue planet. They're scanning the Pacific base, a technician reported. Let them see only what we want them to see, Kim replied. It's not time yet to show our full hand. 2 weeks after first contact, the mood aboard the Talon fleet's command ship had shifted from confidence to frustration. Commander Nak stood before his council of officers, his usually perfect posture now rigid with tension. This situation has become unacceptable, he said, striking the table for emphasis. We came to claim this world for the Galactic Union, yet we're being treated like unwelcome guests. His intelligence officer, Lox, nodded in agreement. Our research teams are being restricted at every turn. The humans smile and talk about safety concerns, but they're clearly hiding something. And our missing scouts? Asked Dox, the security chief. Still no trace, Lox replied. The humans claim to be investigating, but they provide no answers. Nak paced the circular chamber, the soft hum of the ship's engines matching his growing agitation. This was supposed to be a simple mission: show strength, accept surrender, claim resources. Instead, each day brought new questions and fewer answers. It's time to remind these humans who they're dealing with, he said finally. Prepare a demonstration of our power, something limited but unmistakable. Dox straightened. What did you have in mind, Commander? Their city of Seoul. Disable their electrical grid. No casualties, but show them how easily we can disrupt their civilization. Hours later, as night fell over the Korean peninsula, the Talon ship positioned above Seoul activated its electromagnetic pulse cannon. A silent wave of energy washed over the sprawling city. In the command center beneath Seoul's financial district, Park Dae watched as the city lights flickered and died. As Earth's strategic commander, he had been waiting for this moment. They've taken the bait, he said to his team, his voice calm despite the gravity of the situation. Initiate Operation Shadow Step. Around him, officers sprang into action with practiced precision. No panic, no confusion, only the quiet efficiency of people who had drilled for this scenario countless times. Sir, his communications officer reported, all global defense nodes are responding. Shadow network is fully operational. Park nodded. Keep our response invisible for now. Let them think they've frightened us. Across the Earth, in bunkers and hidden facilities, similar scenes played out. Emergency protocols activated as military, and civilian leaders implemented carefully coordinated plans. To casual observers and alien scanners, it appeared that humans were scrambling to respond to a crisis. In reality, they were preparing to reveal just a fraction of their true capabilities. On the surface of Seoul, the scene was surprisingly orderly. Battery-powered lights came on in homes and businesses. Traffic continued to flow as backup systems activated at intersections. Hospitals switched seamlessly to alternative power sources that didn't appear on any public infrastructure maps. Aboard his ship, Nak watched the city with growing unease. "Why aren't they panicking?" he asked no one in particular. "Commander," called an officer monitoring sensor data, "we're detecting unusual energy signatures beneath several major cities worldwide." "What kind of signatures?" "Unknown, sir. They appeared briefly after our pulse weapon fired, then became masked again. But they're powerful, far more powerful than anything we've detected before." Before Nak could respond, a communication request came through from Earth. Director Hanju wished to meet immediately. The meeting was set in a simple room in what remained of Seoul's government district. Despite the apparent power outage around them, the room was well lit and comfortable. When Nak entered with his guards, Han was already seated at the table, wearing the same calm expression she always had. "Your demonstration was received, Commander," she said without preamble. Nak remained standing, trying to use his height to intimidate. "Then you understand the consequences of continued resistance. The Galactic Union has claimed this world. Your choices are simple. Surrender your resources peacefully or face progressive destruction of your infrastructure." Han regarded him quietly for a moment. "You know, Commander, in our history many visitors have come to Earth with similar intentions. Your primitive conflicts are nothing compared to—" "I wasn't referring to conflicts among ourselves," Han interrupted. "I was referring to other visitors from beyond our world," Nak faltered. "Your species has no record of prior extraterrestrial contact." "No public records, no," Han agreed. She reached into her pocket and placed a small disc-shaped device on the table between them. "You've had your demonstration, now watch ours." She pressed the center of the disc. A hologram sprang to life above the table, a perfect, three-dimensional representation of Earth orbit. Every Talon ship was shown in exact detail and precise location, but something else appeared in the hologram too. Small points of light, rising from Earth's surface, each one aligning with a Talon vessel. "What is this?" Nak demanded. "This is a real-time tactical display," Han replied. "Each of those lights represents a defensive weapon currently locked onto one of your ships. They've been tracking your vessels since you entered our solar system." Nak stared at the display, his mind racing. "Your technology shouldn't be capable of this." "Your scans detected what we allowed them to detect," Han said. "Earth learned long ago the value of appearing less advanced than we truly are." As if to emphasize her point, the hologram zoomed in on Nak's own flagship, revealing details of its engine configuration and weapon systems that should have been impossible for humans to know. "You're bluffing," Nak said, but uncertainty had crept into his voice. Han touched the device again, and the hologram changed to show footage from inside one of the missing scout ships. The alien crew was alive, contained in what appeared to be a holding facility. "Your people are safe and well treated," Han said. "They attempted to access restricted areas containing technology we prefer to keep private. In doing so, they triggered automated defense systems." Nak sank slowly into a chair across from her. "Who are you people, really?" "We are exactly what we appear to be," Han replied. "Humans. A young species in many ways, but one that has learned some harsh lessons about survival." She leaned forward slightly. "Your ultimatum has been noted. Commander, now I offer one in return. Withdraw your forces peacefully, or discover why Earth has never been successfully invaded." When Nak returned to his ship, he found his officers in disarray. Their sensors had suddenly begun detecting energy signatures all across Earth's surface, signatures that suggested weapons far beyond what humans should possess. "How did they hide this?" Lox asked, her voice trembling. Nak had no answer as he stared at the seemingly ordinary blue planet below, now revealed to be something far more dangerous than they had ever imagined. Commander Nak woke to the sound of alarms blaring throughout his ship. He had barely slept after his meeting with Director Han, his mind racing with questions about what Earth might truly be capable of. Now as he rushed to the bridge, still pulling on his command uniform, those questions were being answered in the worst possible way. "Status report," he demanded, taking his position at the center of the chaos. His second-in-command, Officer Toole, looked up with undisguised fear in his eyes. 9 ships disabled, Commander. No warning, no distress calls. They just went dark. Nak stared at the tactical display in disbelief. A third of his mighty fleet, the pride of the Galactic Union's expansion force, rendered helpless in what appeared to be a single coordinated strike. How? He whispered. Our shields are the most advanced in the known galaxy. Unknown, sir, replied his tactical officer. There's no evidence of conventional weapons fire, no energy beams, no projectiles. It's as if the ship's systems simply turned against themselves. On the display, the disabled vessels hung dead in orbit, their lights dark, floating silently above the blue planet that suddenly seemed far more threatening than ever before. Full defensive posture, Nak ordered. Prepare all remaining ships for immediate— Commander, interrupted Larks, her voice shaking slightly. You need to see this. The main view screen shifted to show Earth from orbit. As they watched, what had appeared to be empty space began to shimmer and change. Dozens, no, hundreds of objects appeared where nothing had been visible before. Orbital platforms, defense satellites, and what appeared to be fully armed battleships, all suddenly revealing themselves as if someone had pulled away an invisible curtain. Cloaking technology, Dox whispered. At this scale? Impossible. But the evidence was right before their eyes. Earth had not been the primitive, largely defenseless world their intelligence suggested. It was a fortress, armed with technology that matched or exceeded their own. Incoming transmission from Earth, the communications officer announced. Director Han's face appeared on screen, her expression as calm as ever. Commander Nak, we request your presence for an important discussion. A shuttle will be permitted to land at these coordinates. You may bring 2 officers. The transmission ended before Nak could respond. 3 hours later, Nak found himself in an underground facility that, according to his escort, was beneath a city called Beijing. The walls were lined with technology unlike anything he had seen before, some of it recognizably human in design, but other elements seemed distinctly alien. A door slid open, and an older human male entered. He walked with a slight limp, but carried himself with dignity and purpose. Commander Nak, he said with a small bow, I am Li Min, Earth's chief historian. I've been asked to provide you with some context for recent events. You attacked my fleet, Nak said, anger briefly overcoming his fear. We disabled ships that represented a threat to our world, Li corrected gently. No lives were lost. Your crew members are safe and will be returned to you. How? Nak demanded. How did you hide all this from our scans, from our intelligence gatherers? We've been monitoring Earth for decades. Li gestured for Nak to follow him. They entered a large circular room with a dome ceiling that slowly illuminated to show a starfield, a planetarium of sorts. Earth has served as what we call a cosmic filter for centuries, Li explained, as stars swirled above them. Your Talon fleet is not the first to discover our world with conquest in mind. The display shifted to show images of spacecraft, dozens of different designs, none of them human in origin. These are all vessels that entered our solar system with hostile intent, Li continued. Some came openly as conquerors, others, like yourselves, came under the guise of diplomacy while planning to subsume us. Nak stared at the images in disbelief. Some of the ship designs he recognized from historical records, vessels from civilizations that had mysteriously vanished or suffered unexplained technological setbacks. Your intelligence suggested we've never achieved space travel, Li said, watching Nak's reaction carefully. In reality, we simply choose to remain hidden. The galaxy is a dangerous place, and staying quiet has served us well. But how? Naki asked. The technology required is largely not our own, Li finished for him, at least not originally. The dome above them changed again, showing laboratory facilities where humans worked alongside unfamiliar alien species. Those who came peacefully, we welcomed and learned from, Li explained. Those who came as conquerors— He paused. Well, their technologies proved quite useful after we studied them. Nak felt a chill run through him. You're saying you've defeated every alien force that's tried to invade? Or integrated them into our society? Li nodded. Many chose to stay once. They understood our position. Some of your own people might make similar choices. In another part of the facility, captured officers from NAC's scout ships were being given a similar explanation by Director Han. Many looked shell-shocked as they were shown evidence of Earth's true capabilities. Your quantum communications technology is particularly interesting, Han was saying. Though we achieved something similar 50 years ago after studying a Prestari ship that made the mistake of targeting our moon bases. Prestari, one of the aliens asked. They vanished from galactic records over 40 years ago. Han's smile was polite but carried an unmistakable message. Did they? How unfortunate. Back in the planetarium, Lee was showing NAC images of Earth's hidden defenses, orbital platforms disguised as debris, quantum-shielded facilities buried beneath ordinary-looking human cities, and weapons systems that incorporated technologies from a dozen different alien civilizations. We couldn't risk showing our true selves to the galaxy, Lee explained. Earth sits at a valuable crossroads between several expanding empires. If our true technological level were known, everyone would want what you have, Anak finished, understanding dawning in his eyes. Precisely, Lee nodded. So we maintain the illusion of being just another developing world. We let our ships venture only to our nearby planets. We keep our more advanced technologies hidden from our own people, as well as outsiders. Nak looked around the room with new eyes, suddenly seeing not a primitive species that had gotten lucky, but a deceptive powerhouse that had been playing a long, careful game of galactic survival. Your union isn't the first to underestimate us, Lee said gently, though we hope it might be the last. Back aboard his command ship, Commander Nak gathered his remaining officers. The mood was grim. Displays showed their 9 disabled vessels still floating helplessly in Earth's orbit, dark and silent. The other 17 ships remained operational, but the confidence that had marked their arrival was gone. We still outnumber their visible defenses, said Dox, the security chief, pointing to tactical displays. If we coordinate a simultaneous strike on their major power centers— You saw what I saw, Nak interrupted. They revealed only a fraction of their capabilities. Those orbital platforms appeared from nowhere. What else are they hiding? Officer. Tool leaned forward. Commander, the Galactic Union expects results. If we retreat without securing this world, our careers are finished. We may face worse consequences. Nak knew Tul was right. The Union did not tolerate failure. He had been sent to claim Earth, and returning empty-handed was not an option. His mind raced, considering alternatives. Perhaps a focused attack? A demonstration of force severe enough to force genuine negotiations? Prepare all functional ships for coordinated strikes, he ordered finally. Target their defense platforms first, then key military installations. We'll show them the full might of the Talon fleet. As officers hurried to implement his orders, Nak stared at the view screen showing Earth turning peacefully below. Something about this felt wrong, like walking deliberately into a trap. But what choice did he have? On Earth, deep beneath the surface of what humans called the Atlantic Ocean, the Global Defense Center hummed with activity. Hundreds of officers from nations around the world monitored the alien fleet's movements on massive screens. Director, Han stood with Park Dae and Kim Sun, watching as red dots representing the alien vessels moved into attack formations. They're preparing a final assault, Park observed. Predictable, but disappointing. Han nodded. We gave them a chance to understand. Now we'll have to be more persuasive. She turned to Kim. Activate the full network. All systems, all platforms. Let them see exactly what they're facing. Kim nodded and spoke quietly into her communication device. Around the world, operators received her command and began activating systems that had remained dormant for decades, some for centuries. Aboard the Talon command ship, Nak was moments away from giving the order to attack when his sensor officer called out in alarm. Commander, energy signatures appearing everywhere. Our sensors are— I've never seen readings like this. The tactical display transformed before their eyes. What had been a manageable number of Earth defense platforms suddenly multiplied. Hundreds of new signatures appeared in orbit, rising from the oceans, emerging from what had appeared to be ordinary mountains. That can't be right, Dox whispered. Run a diagnostic. The sensors must be malfunctioning. No malfunction, replied the officer, her voice shaking. These are real, and they're all locking targeting systems on our vessels. Nak watched in stunned silence as Earth revealed its true defensive capability. The scope was beyond anything he had imagined, beyond anything the Galactic Union had ever encountered. Their planned attack wasn't just doomed, it was suicidal. "Incoming transmission from Earth," announced the communications officer. The view screen showed Director Han standing in what appeared to be a massive command center, far more advanced than anything Nak had seen during his visits to the planet's surface. "Commander Nak," she said, her expression serious but not unkind, "I believe it's time we had a genuine conversation about Earth's place in the galaxy and the Talon fleet's options going forward." 30 minutes later, Nak's shuttle once again descended to Earth. This time he came alone, following Han's instructions. He was escorted to a facility built into the side of a mountain range, the Himalayas, his guide called them. Inside, he found not just Director Han, but representatives from nations across Earth. They sat around a circular table in a chamber whose walls displayed real-time images of his fleet, surrounded by Earth's now revealed defenses. "Thank you for coming," Han said as he took his seat. "We prefer this outcome to the alternative." "You've made your point," Nak replied, trying to maintain some dignity. "Your defenses are impressive. But what happens now? The Galactic Union will send others when we fail to report success." Han smiled. "That's exactly what we wish to discuss. Not surrender, either yours or ours, but a new understanding." She activated a display in the center of the table, showing a document titled "The Earth Accords. We are descendants of survivors," Han explained, her voice taking on a tone of pride. "Our earliest civilizations were forged in hardship. We learned to adapt and overcome. When we began encountering visitors from beyond our world, we applied those same principles." The display shifted to show historical images, what appeared to be crash sites of alien vessels, captured technology, and even alien beings living among humans in various time periods. "Every species that tried to conquer us either joined us or disappeared," Han continued. "We've incorporated their knowledge, their technology, sometimes their very people into our world, not as conquests, but as partners in survival." Nak studied the images with growing understanding. "You're offering the same to the Talon fleet, to the Galactic Union." "We're offering a genuine alliance," Han confirmed, "not subjugation disguised as protection, which was your original intent. Earth can no longer remain completely hidden. Your union has found us. But perhaps there's an opportunity in that." Over the next several hours, Nak learned the true history of Earth, a planet that had served as an unwitting trap for would-be conquerors for centuries. Rather than expanding outward like most technological civilizations, humans had turned their focus inward, building layers of defense and developing technologies that allowed them to hide their true capabilities. "Your people have achieved what the Union has sought for generations," Nak admitted finally. "True security in a dangerous galaxy." "Security through carefully maintained obscurity," Han agreed. "Until now." The negotiations continued for days. Crews from the disabled Talon ships were returned unharmed. Technical teams from both sides began cautious exchanges of information. And slowly a new understanding emerged, one that would reshape the Talon fleet's mission and potentially the Galactic Union's approach to expansion. 1 week after the near-disastrous final assault, Commander Nak stood beside Director Han as they signed the Earth Accords. The document established Earth as an independent ally of the Galactic Union, not a subject world. It detailed exchanges of technology, cultural understanding, and mutual defense, a true partnership. "Your union gains a valuable ally," Han said as the signing concluded. "And we gain a voice in galactic affairs without revealing our full capabilities to everyone just yet." Nak nodded. "And I return with a diplomatic victory instead of a military defeat. Everyone wins." "That's always our preferred outcome," Han replied with a smile. 3 days later, Nak's command ship departed Earth orbit, leading the Talon fleet back toward Union space. Standing at the view screen, he watched as the blue planet grew smaller in the distance. As they reached the edge of the solar system, he noticed something strange. Earth was disappearing from their sensors, fading as if it were becoming transparent. "They're reactivating their planetary cloaking systems," his science officer explained. "To any ships passing by, it will appear as just another developing world. Interesting, perhaps, but not remarkable." Nak nodded, understanding the cleverness of it all. Earth would continue its quiet existence, showing the galaxy only what it wished to be seen, a seemingly ordinary blue world that concealed one of the deadliest defensive forces in the galaxy. "Set course for home," he ordered, already thinking about how he would explain this unexpected alliance to his superiors. "And update our star charts." "Sir?" his navigator asked, confused. "Mark Earth as a protected world," Nak clarified. "With a special notation, approach with respect, don't blink."